record as though, even though we're not like playing like. And here's what I'll do before we jump into that. Let me get you guys squares situated in here so that Colin's not like half a face.
Oh yeah.
Like everybody's like, let's get you guys all like nice and situated. And then, but that's a great place to start, Nick. Yeah. So just hold tight before you start thinking it. So great question to like start thinking about what Nick is asking, because it's a good start pondering those things. Like, what do you think your character's been doing in the past year? You know, what kind of adventures do you think you've gone on? I am open to all of that. Like, and those are the kind of things you can kind of start wondering and start putting your questions down that you might have for me. That might help inform those things as well. So, while I do
it also can be collaborative too, because I know
absolutely
that there's probably some things that Drell probably wanted to achieve during this like period of time. I'm sure that Kira has had some stuff. I know for like Takula, like you usually were like the hunter, like gathering stuff. So I don't know if that's like has helped with like some other activities of like other people during that time.
Yeah, well, we can kind of hear the background of what's going on.
Yeah.
I had ideas, but you know.
Let's see, Eddie. Oh, Eddie's all blurred out, so wait till he comes back. Let's get Nick in here. One day I want to ask you all what your because you know I've known you all for so long, played with you all so long. You all have, some of you I think I already know that, but like everyone has their kind of handles for like Tachyon Snuggie. Nick, I always want to know, what does that mean? Like you know, Takula's always Ollivander, you know, Munroth. Like, you know, what's the story behind those? I'm sure that's not, you know, we don't have to talk that right now, but well, I think it's good.
I can tell you right now what that whole was, because that started when I was like 12 years old.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was my first gamer tag. My handle was Tachyon Snuggie, and oh god, there's two Eddies.
You see?
Oh boy. But yeah, I got on my 12th birthday a PlayStation 3. My first time getting like a brand new console like that. And so I had to make a PlayStation account to do like the whole networking thing. And at the time, I was super into the whole, they were like showing this product like on TV and stuff like that. The Snuggie. If you remember that. Blanket, but also wearable. Very comfortable.
Yes.
A blanket with sleeves.
Yep, exactly. And I don't know exactly how I got like into this, but at that period of time, I was also like, thought the tachyon particle was a really cool thing. And so I was like, let me combine these two. So that's where Tachyon Snuggie came in. And eventually, as I like, you know, got to know people online, talked to people, my handle became Tacky because it just rolled off the tongue really well.
Yeah. That's great.
Little history.
See, it's really cool. Yeah, because it's those little things I always think about, like, but I don't like bring up. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you, Nick. All right, so we got some faces. Let's do. So if it helps with that question around what they might have been doing, here's what I can share with them. Where do I want to start tonight? Okay, let's go.
Did you want to record?
Yes, I am recording. We've been recording for about 4 minutes, but thank you. So where am I looking for? Looking for like. Did I always like, did I delete something?
Hope not.
I hope not.
You're
Right?
still hidden.
Oh, I am. Oh, yeah. This I hate this. I used to love this camera, and they updated their software, and now it just is always on the fritz. It's always like doing stuff I don't want it to do. It's always like shooting my like hand, or like it just won't stay where I want it to. I turned off the stop tracking my face. Like, don't do that. I don't want you. But then it'll just like fucking point at the floor, and I'm like, I don't want a camera that does that. Stop it. So yeah,
Got a mind of its own.
Yeah,
It looks nice and clear though.
yeah, it's that it is good for. So hopefully I can make sure I'm always wearing pants with this thing on, because it just
In a meeting.
Oh man.
it will snitch on you. Like, hey man, what are you doing? Yeah.
Oh man.
It is so ironic that more and more products are like trying to be smart and account for people and what they do, and they just
out
fighting
you.
them.
Yeah. Let's give a camera a neck so it can look. It's like, that's smart. I don't think that's a good idea. It's like, what are you doing?
Autofocus.
Oh man, for real. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so here's a couple things I'll share with you. The political structure of Daru has changed, right? It went from these like two warring, it's kind of like we're like monarchy on the hill, and then this more communal, like elder leader. Both we still had the structure where like we had two leaders making choices for the people. It has now come down to almost a democratic council. The main leaders of this council are Elder Nicolo. At the top would be Alora, the queen. And then there is Mabina, the leader of, essentially, Mabina went from being like the kind of go fetch or how people saw her, but now she's essentially head of the forces of Daru. So the guard, she would be over Dakar. Technically Dakar still answers to Alora, but like she'd be over like the defenses. So she's like all the physical, the action oriented action. I think I actually put it in Legend Keeper. Let me see if I can find that, because maybe that'll help me talk it through, because I can share it. Map perspective. Let's go into Daru and so yeah, we've got Laura, we've got, where did I put that? And so yeah, so basically this almost like this democratic council, and the way it works is between Alora, as she represents the old ways, well, not the old ways, but the more of like that the traditions of her father Matimbe, and that the influence of the Aldarians, that the people don't want to uproot. It's there. It's now part of the culture. Nicolo represents the complete old ways ancestry. Babina represents the strength portion, because he's also a leader of the griots, the priests, the magic, so history, force, tradition, if you want to first say. When it comes to making decisions, they hold council meetings. Those council meetings, they take votes. All of their votes count as 3 votes each between the 3 of them. You all have now been brought on as honorary members of that council. Your votes count as 1 each whenever there is a vote on things that may be done or whatever it may be. So just kind of letting you know that is like how those are like that's like kind of like one of the changes maybe to what we see in terms of how the town is run. I think what goes along with that is Alora would have very quickly had a meeting with you all. This is all in the past, and told you, I want you to sever all connections with Grindbone. Daru will do no trade with Grindbone. Now, you all know the Duke of Grindbone. You all had great, between Osei had come with a really sweet deal. I think 10% on the slave trade there. So one of the questions that I want you to all think about and ask yourselves is, do you tell Alora straight no? That's not something we can agree to. Do you lie? Do you agree to her terms and say, yeah, fuck Grindbone, they're out of here? Do you lie to her and then still take money from Grindbone, you know, for the past year? And then if so, how often do you visit Grindbone? You also have an estate. You have like, I mean, it's a ruin, but like, have you been going to this like secondary HQ that you have there? You can also say, you know, hey, Laura, we don't want to work for you. We're going to bounce out. And you could use Grindbone as your home base if you wish as well. Nothing forces you to use Daru. But these are things to think about, because Alora was a slave there. It would make sense that she'd be like, absolutely not. I'm not going to be trading with them. Because also in the past year, Daru has gone from being a village to a town, as there's been more travelers because people are coming up from the Blood Cove, and there's been more traffic from Gondora because, you know, with the work of you all have helped, and with the uplifting of the Joyfall, there's, you know, Daru is actually, you know, popular. And now with Soloola over here with this whole workforce of skeletons. Now, Daru is very anti-necromancy, so that's also something we've got to talk about when Shoyebi gets here. Is that the people are not cool with that. So like up until this point, Shoyebi has always had to keep the skeletons outside the town, but the neighbors next door literally are growing rapidly because they're using an army of skeletons to build everything, excavate, or all that. So Alora and the council is trying to come around to it, because there actually is a meeting that's on the table where that when we actually have our first roleplay session that is coming up, that they want to talk about how do we work with Soloola, and can we bring Soloola under as like because, you know, right now, the great thing is all these little provinces and these estates, these settlements, they've got their own freedom, but there's no like empire, right? There's no one to protect from warring from tribes and all. I mean, from like, you know, war clans, orcs, all that kind of stuff. And so there is a need for people to feel like, how do we create strength in numbers? How do we work together? What does that look like? And so I think we're in that year of Daru trying to figure that out with such a close settlement that seems to be moving kind of rapidly. And then Soloola's over there kind of growing, but not growing. Like Soloola is they're kind of cultish, right? If you guys know, everybody there is from the old, like, you know, was pretty much brought back by Anansi, and they're welcoming, but they have their it's a commune that's like growing. And so that's some things that you all can think about. Grindbone is still grindboning. Duke is duking over there. And so some things that I wanted you all to think about. And how many times have you visited Grindbone? Are you receiving kickbacks from Grindbone? Where do you even keep your treasure stash, right? Who do you trust? What's that, you know? Now, I imagine Alora would have also given you an estate, or given you some place to stay that is, whether it be in the castle or one of the homes, you know, that are not being used in Daru. So if you did want to like trade one for another, you could, but it wouldn't be the same thing, because I will tell you this, Grindbone, because the way it's set up, and it's kind of made to your all devices of like, go out, get that money, make it. It has, Daru's going to be more community based. Grindbone's going to be like, hey, you could build a fortress there if you want to, right? Like, so you guys can think about, this is a good session to think about long term, what the group wants, where they're at, what they're thinking about. So those are some things. Yeah. In addition, a couple things. Shoyebi would have become the emissary of Daru that specifically works between Soloola, and he's like the go-between to go talk to Papa Deka. I know you guys have probably forgotten some of these NPC. Papa Deka is the guy who's actually a Spider-Man who looks like a regular person, who is like lead over there. Shoyabi would be that person. This would end up giving. So Shebi is going to get another magic. So in addition, you remember last session, you all would have gotten a new heroic ability. But in addition, so Shebi's going to get a magic talent he would get that in addition to this if he takes on this is an extra heroic ability that you get if you take on this role that Alora has given you. So you don't have to take these things. Alora would have offered Takula to be like her chief safari. I don't even know what that term would be. Like the person who does who kind of like monitors monster activity, sends people on tracking missions. You'd be kind of head of that. And so with that, Chief Sepharis is what I called it. You could choose to gain for free either the heroic ability Monster Hunter or the heroic ability Quartermaster if you accepted that. Kira would have been anointed to Griot Priestess. She would have been the gift of learning Harmonism. She would automatically gain Harmonism, 3 magic tricks, and 3 level 1 spells from Harmonism. Karasi would have been able to use the Monastery Garden, and I think a lot of the priests would start to want to actually learn from Karasi. And if Karasi's willing to teach, then Karasi would also learn the defensive ability Deflect Arrow.
Very monk.
Then Drell would have learned. I know you focus more on tanning, but you would have learned from the Master Blacksmith in Daru. You would learn the Master Blacksmith skill as well, as you would be kind of working under his tutelage when you're.
Doesn't he already know that?
Do you already know that one?
He knows. He knows.
Then he doesn't need. He has all 3. Oh, he has all 3. I got to work on something new for you. So let me put a blank for Drill. Yeah, Drill.
I mean, if you want, maybe something that he could do is make a master crafted weapon for the group during that.
I'd be open to that as well.
Because he's probably made a lot of stuff during that year period.
Yeah.
And I can imagine Drell making something for the group or for Daru or
Here's and I feel like I also realized where we're so far into this, I haven't even gone back and told Colin what happened last game, so I need to do a full update. So that's still on our docket to do. That might help. Can I ask you all this too? On a scale so in a year as a group, how many mini adventures do you think you went on together, not separately, in the past year?
We have a business together. Y'all better hang out with me.
So
especially, I hear that our business was robbed, and we might not have any inventory.
No, you have plenty of inventory.
What?
You were robbed at the end of. Well, okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's just recap last episode. Let's recap last episode.
Jesus Christ.
Holy shit.
If you check the merchantry financials docket, there is specifically the item I have listed that has been stolen from my inventory.
Yes,
there is
one
item.
There is an item that was stolen. So
Okay, that's less dramatic.
I'll try to streamline it. But last game, after you guys got the final MacGuffins, the MacGuffins had been acquired and then taken from you the minute you got them.
Really irritating, by the way, because you were totally just pickpocketed. Oh, by the way, the horn was taken from you while you were underwater.
I was waiting for you. Well, I mean, I pulled it off with the wave splat, and I was waiting for you to go and try to use it. And since you never went to look for it, if you would have went to look for it, there would have been an opportunity to get it back. But I was like,
it was in my pocket.
Yep. This is a and I did that for a very specific because I want to also let you know in D&D we often don't explore what happened because there's literally rules around mages losing their grimoires. And so there has to be ways, which there's never really mechanics for that other than DMs doing dastardly deeds, which means that constantly check your pockets, constantly look for stuff. Because if I roll behind this dream stream, And I have been caught a couple times when players been like, "Where's my horn?" And I'll be like, and in that episode, you never brought the horn up until it was too late.
What was funny is
And I was like, the horn's
intentionally
gone.
not bringing it up because I didn't want you to take it from me.
Exactly.
I'm like,
and I was like, I'm
maybe
taking
he'll
it because you're not
forget
bringing
that
it up.
I have this horn in my pocket.
That's so funny
In the
because
bag,
I'm thinking,
I have this horn, and they're gonna
unless she
leave
doesn't,
and
if she
realize
brings
I
it
have the
up,
horn.
then I'll know she's thinking about it. If she doesn't bring it up,
Well, I was
Though-
thinking about it, but I was intentionally not bringing it up so you wouldn't think about it. Dang it.
fair enough. That's the joys of tabletop gaming. But so the party, long story short, went to try to stop the ritual. The ritual was taking place at the castle, the Red Keep in Daru. It was the queen tried to kill her daughter. Like they were, full of druidic like cultists. When they show up, they have to fight this like the Quasimon ends up. So all right, sorry. Let me take a step back. They take the ship. The ship has a crew. The crew tells the group that, hey, we're with you. We don't want to work for the. See, this camera's on the fritz. I can't stand it. I just want it to stop. Like, stop AI. No AI. Turn that off. Don't do that. Like, please, just stay one place. The crew's like, we're with you. It turns out the crew is saying this because the crew has been working for the queen, only as undercover because they've really been working for Mabina. And they were on this mission to try to track where Alora was being taken. Turns out you guys didn't. The elementals took Alora. So when the ship shows up to the shore, Mabina and her people are ready to pounce, and she doesn't know you're on the ship. And then she's like, hey, but she's also. At this point, the group learns is that Mabina's view of the merchantry has been soured by another group. Wednesday group, because Wednesday group talked to the queen, and the queen was like, I got this other group working for me. And so that group went and told Mabina that you all worked for the queen. So now you guys know this is not no PvP, but just tell. But
Now we have beef with the other group.
yeah, so
Let's
there's
go.
so the other
like,
group,
Spreading rumors about us.
I mean, they weren't lying. They just shared what they knew. They didn't know anything.
Yeah,
So then Mabina's like, oh my God, those people. And then Mabina starts having thoughts like maybe they are the reason Jabari's dead, because we also learned Mabina had a thing with Jabari. They were like lovers. And so she's like on edge about catching this group back. And then she realizes when it all comes out, it's like, oh yeah, you all are not the bad. You guys aren't bad. And you all are on their side. The crew's on her side. Everybody's on each other's side. She's like, I've got somebody who can get you in the castle. And it's Quasimon. Quasimon's working with Mabina. Group's like, we don't want to work with Quasimon, but we do. We go in, we do a little dungeon crawl. We fight some rat folks and go through the dungeons of the castle. We end up in the ritual corridor or the courtyard at the back of the castle, fighting the shambling mound or that like kind of vine-like creature, in addition to a bunch of cultists and other plant-like plants or man-eating plants, and the queen Harga, the queen's mage, and essentially the group does a really good job. I mean, it kind of goes both ways. Sometimes the bad guys are up, sometimes you guys are up, but eventually stop the ritual from taking place, stopped the queen from dealing a blow to Alora, and that's all because Karasi was able to lift the body move her away, and then divert. There was a lot of diversion, and then like fireballing the queen, she burned to death. And then because the god could not enter the world as Shine in his benevolence, he ends up in his like lower form, which is still this deadly demonic hand-like creature, which like Nikki or someone else will share some images at some point. And it was a pretty so that was a dastardly little fight with these demonic, essentially demonic hands. They were just fighting hands that could cast all kind of weird spells, curses. One of the spells curses blinds Nikki's character for like till perpetuity, till her sight comes back. And then but our NPCs are always putting in work. Dakar's putting in work. Quasimon is. Takula's getting shots off. It's a crazy time, but they survive and they win. They send Shine back to, and it does end with Karasi and Shine, and I think it was on not a punch, but you doing banish, right? Or
I
purge.
did banish, yeah.
Banish. So she banishes, which is appropriate. She banishes the god back to whatever demonic plane he came from. And Daru is free. Zareth is dead. You know, it's a new era for the people, for Allura. Laura's finally kind of free from under this like wicked stepmother. And we go on about our way. Now when the group, the next couple days, they get back to their merchants, you know, like looking at their inventory, the group tells them that it wasn't really stolen. It wasn't something that happened in the middle of the night. Knights from the Order of the Veil walked up to the stall and was like, they had a spellcaster with them, someone that was, what do you call it, a medium or someone was like, it's here. They they pretty much bullied their way and went through all the shit and was like, this scepter we are taking because it belongs to us. It was the scepter of Nashaka, and they's like, this is ours. No questions asked. No one stopped them.
Where did we get that?
Everyone was scared to take it, and they took it, and they left with it.
I believe that was from the dungeon crawl in the Whites, where we
Was
fought
that the ghosts?
That was the ghosts and all the stuff when we ambushed Quasimon's men.
Yep.
I want to send this link out for the Google Docs page if anyone wants to see the merchant's stall / our inventory.
Yeah. Okay, so you have a document for that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Copy link.
And so that
I'll
was
send
the
it
stolen thing.
I'll send this in the Zoom
Awesome.
chat for anyone who wants to access this. Merchant Tree Financials.
Oh boy.
Man, who's gonna manage this now that
I
Well,
know.
now that you're not there to do it?
I can manage it as a player
Person.
and we can just say that the people that still run the stall are the ones managing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we paid people.
You pay people to.
Yeah. This is because I assume at this point the stall can work as independent, at this point because
It's self-sufficient.
somewhat self-sufficient.
Speaking of the stalls, let's do my next order of business would be to ask you for a couple things. 4 quarters. I want Nick, you could do this. Nick, you want to give me 4 separate D100 rolls to see how profits have gone over the see what kind of money you have made just from the merchant, not going on adventures. And then I'm gonna come back to you and ask you all how many adventures you went on. 1 through 5 adventures. Now the good thing about it is the thing is, if for every adventure that you went on, there's a chance you also took in treasure, things that you all went. And but also the more adventures you go on, there's also a chance for more opportunities for you to roll a demon on whatever roll you make, and chance for us to have some bad things that might have happened on said adventures. And Nick's new character would not have gone on any of this. So when we actually start, your character will start fresh with this group. They haven't been on. They've been seen around, but they haven't been on any adventures. They haven't been inducted. They're not a group member yet.
Yeah. I imagine that is the case.
Yeah.
Maybe we acquired your character on one of these adventures.
No.
Met your character.
No.
On
We know where. Yeah, we.
Okay.
There's a
someone we know?
specific. Is not someone that you know, but they would become a face in Daru. One of the faces.
What
We
happened?
should have read all of Legend Keeper like
Okay,
What
so
did I do
62
here?
for
What
the
happened?
first roll.
Okay.
And you said 4 rolls, right?
Somebody get kicked out. Let's see. Suddenly all the
I don't
cameras
know
went
what
wonky. Yeah, I'll figure it out on my end. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Got
I'll
a
just
little
post
better.
the numbers in the chat. So
Okay. Yep.
you can
Thank you, sir.
keep track. All right.
There we go. Okay, for now.
Second one.
Chat.
Oh wow, that's a 2.
Okay.
It's gotta
Jeez.
be good. Either really good,
Really good or really bad.
Really bad.
It's always one of the two.
Okay.
Never the twain shall meet.
Oh God, and a
Oh, God.
96.
Ah!
Okay, we're going really bad and really good.
We get to find out both ends of the spectrum. How exciting!
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And then last one. And then 54, somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Okay. So let me I'll go through what I got here. First quarter, wait, was it? I feel like I'm missing some. 1 second. Where did everything go? Okay, merchantry, here we go. I literally lost my place and I'm trying to find it back. I hate when this happens. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Q1, business covered its own maintenance cost for each of the days. It earned so roll 1d4 times 10.
Okay.
Okay.
That is a 1.
1, so 10 gold. with all things said, 10 gold.
Okay. That's
then-
not too bad.
And then for the second one, we did so maybe this was around the time that those folks showed up. There was a disaster, the theft, lack of demand. This is when things were rough. The group had to pay the maintenance costs for each of the days and lost 25%. Ooh,
So high is
25%.
Low.
Okay, that's a lot. I'm gonna say there's a 20% loss in inventory. That means there's some things that get.
Oh.
I'll think
So that's
about
probably
that.
the stuff.
But I could also rule that as the 20, maybe because the scepter itself was. I don't think you guys knew what you had. That thing was probably worth a lot.
So do you want to say
so
that
I'll
that was
treat I'll
probably-
treat that as the major loss when they realize what that scepter is worth, and the fact that it's a ruby in it, and that the ruby is probably an ancient elf.
That thing was
that
worth
is
money.
the loss. That's the loss there. That's the 2. Unfortunately, this chart, the 2s are bad. Like it's going. So the 96 is Q3. The business covers all of its maintenance costs for each of the days, and then it earns a profit of 2d6 gold piece. So we're gonna do 2d6 times 10.
2d6. 12.
12. Okay, so
Nice.
and remember now. Here's the thing. Now remember, this sounds really low because when you think about D&D, gold seems really high. But remember, most people in the Ashlands do not deal in gold. We just use gold piece to like it's easier to track. But what this probably is you dealing in silver. So at the end of this, if you ended up with 100 gold in a year, it's really 1,000. You'd like thousands of silver. It's like 1,000 of silver, right? So that it's just easier to lower numbers, easier to track. But that's why it's an easy way to think about it in terms of like why. Well, we're not really making any money. It's like that gold is a lot. That gold is a lot. So okay. And then so what did I say you rolled there for?
I rolled a 12. So
12.
2 6s.
So 2 6s. So 120. So 120. So that's 120 gold. So that's 130 gold so far in a year that they've made. Yep. And then
That's pretty
pretty
good.
good.
I'm putting that in the total wealth for the
Yep.
merchantry inventory.
And then the last was 54, which is the business covered its own maintenance costs, and that is it broke even. Profits cover the other half. So okay, so then 130 gold came out pretty good. That's just on the business doing the business. That's all. That's what you guys get right now. Extra 130 gold.
Business is businessing.
Business is businessy. Because you think about that, even then, that's with all like you paying people and like constantly keeping the people fed and all that. They made a pretty decent profit, especially as Daru's not a huge commerce. Like people coming through, that's a good amount of gold to make in a year in such a small town. Yeah, so that's your profits. And then next we can roll on how many adventures we went on and see what came from the adventures.
So I guess that's for the group. How many adventures did he go on, or did you stay behind in Daru?
I think it depends on how long Kira was blind.
Oh, that's a good question, huh? Hey, Kira, roll a d4 for me.
Oh, it's cocked. Hold on. Pick a different one. A 3.
3 months.
Okay, not crazy.
Yeah, not crazy. 3 months.
Not crazy.
3 months she was.
I think during the blindness, she kind of disappeared into harmonism.
Okay. Yeah. So
That'll
maybe
be interesting. So I don't think she adventured too hard during those months, but
Yeah.
I think as soon as she was out of it, she was like, "Get me in a dungeon."
Yeah. So if we think about it, almost like if there's like 3,
She
4
might be
months,
that
almost like a
person in
quarter of the
group
year
chat
that she
who's
was
like,
out.
When are we hanging out
So
again?
they might have, yes.
When are we doing it again?
That might have only left 3 or 4 times for them to go outings, right? And then did the rest of them actually kind of go and kind of spend time on their own? These are things you do not have to take. These are literally, I'm just, these are no major pros or cons to them. They're just, did you do it? Did you not?
I think Karasi would have it for some time wanted to do some studying, and it may have involved her leaving the village to, seek out, a master monk or something that she could do some studying with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think there's anybody anymore in Daru.
Anything you would have learned, well, they may not be monks, but there are mages in Daru. Both Mabina, Nikalo are magic users. And I think right now that desire to find a monk, I don't think she's found yet. And I'm making that call, not with the call of a dice, because I think that's narratively something that I think Karasi might find in the story ahead. Because we also haven't explored her backstory yet. She hasn't had her episode. So I don't think she's found that person that takes her like monk to the next level. Now, if she's just trying to learn a new magic art, she could easily learn that in Daru. Like her new magic talent. If she also, so Nikki, what that count? Sorry, Nikki, you made me think as I'm talking to Karasi. Also for Kira, you, in addition to whatever heroic ability you do end up taking from the last session, that when we accomplish the ending, the essentially what you're taking for in terms of just like mechanically, you would be what they gave you is magic talent, and then they taught you harmonism, because you would need a heroic ability called magic talent every time you learn a new magic school, and then you need at least a week of downtime in game, which we also found in our other group that Jameson was actually not far ahead. He was actually was like wondering why he had so many magic schools, and because he was treating them like learning a new magic spell, learning spells and learning a magic school. You need a whole week to learn a magic school, and you need a teacher. If you don't have a teacher, it's impossible.
Okay, so that's like taking the magic school.
It's like taking the magic talent. The magic talent, it's called, heroic
I see
ability.
magic school heroic ability.
Oh, maybe it's magic school. Maybe I'm calling it magic school. You're probably right.
You have an aptitude for magic and can learn a new school of magic, whether you already know it or not.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Can be selected multiple times, once for each new school. Okay. Okay,
It's-
cool.
Yep.
That was on my wish list of.
Yeah. And
Things,
that
so
that could have happened in those 3 months, right? That you would have been learning that.
Yeah.
Normally we would make rolls for it. This is such an amount of time because if she would have failed her first week, she would have made another rope the next week. There's no need to do the rolls for it. It's just yeah. So it feels like it feels like you're not making rolls for those things you would normally make rolls for. That's why, because there's such a huge amount of time.
So I'll just throw that in my list of heroic abilities and do
And then put harmonism next to it. And then what you need to do is give yourself harmonism. So on your skill sheet, you have to give yourself a secondary skill called harmonism. And then the base level of it, what's your charisma number?
15.
15. So that means 15. I think that means without me checking the book, I think that means your starting number would have been 7. What I need to check the school is does that 7 double and mean you start with harmonism 14? I'm gonna say no, you don't. You start at a base.
It's my first.
It's a base level 7, which is it's a reason to want to grow your magical ability. It means that just because you know magic, it's gonna be tough to cast it at the beginning. You're gonna be trying to hit 7 or under, and you're gonna be trying to but when you maybe at the end of a game want to up your magic, the first time you hit an 8, it goes to 8. Next time you hit a 9, and then you'll just keep leveling it up. So it gives you more, that gives you more growth opportunity. So I'd say, you're a harmonism 7 is your starting ability, and you'll have to add that to your character sheet. Where there's basically, if you look at your character sheet, there's a section for secondary skills. That's where all magic skills go. They go under secondary.
I wasn't sure if I would put the magic tricks there, or if I would put the.
You put your magic tricks essentially in the same place you put your heroic abilities on a character sheet in terms of wherever
In alchemy, they go in your equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
So the secondary skill just tells you the branch of magic that you've got.
And then the number that you need to roll against to make that magic work every time you use it. And then you just got a set of spells that you've learned that you're going to decide what those are.
Thank you.
Something to keep in mind as well, because you never had to really deal with it, is that you have to make sure you're not wearing any sort of metal or metal equipment.
Oh, I'm covered in metal right now. That's for sure.
So that's the problem. So she won't be able to really use this harmonism right now.
I'm gonna have to find, because I just got cool armor.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Based on the new Magic's book, which I've always thought it was a possibility when it comes to I've always talked about you could if you look on Legend Keeper, there is a section for bone weapons, for primitive weapons, wooden weapons, stuff like that, but they can snap. But Dragonbane's, the new book, talks about different types of so pretty much iron. It's like iron and steel is what kind of short circuits the magical abilities. But if your weapon is made out of obsidian or some other ore, there's a chance to get around the magic thing. So if you find higher form, so for example, technically maybe something like adamantium might not have the same effect, and so then you could be this Gandalf longsword wielding mage at that point. So they're opening up the possibilities for mages to use weapons, but it's going to be on those rare, pretty much you're trying to find a high quality magic weapon.
That's a long term thing.
Yeah, it's a long term thing. So don't count it. So right now the stuff you are wearing would hinder you from using those things. So it just means hey, also remember this, you could always, armor's different, but there are, I've had players go, I'm wielding a shield and a dagger or whatever, and I'm going to throw those down, right? I'm going to toss them away and then cast. That is one way around it, right? But you would be using your action to try to pick them up next turn, so you can't just be pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down. You can't do that. But, but you can. But throwing them down doesn't cost you anything, so you could be like start of a round, throw my shit down and like cast a spell. You could do that. Yeah. So some things to think about. What else? Yeah, I mean, hopefully I have given you enough to think about, like you would all to have like almost some talks about your characters and what you think you've been doing. With all you know now, what do you think they've been up to? It's probably our.
Well, I've stayed kind of quiet so far. I think with Takula, kind of based on how events went down with the kind of culmination of the last few sessions, is kind of turning a different leaf. That he's like having a change of heart and deciding to be a part of like the system of the town here, whereas his previous inclination was just like being with the group, keep people alive, but disengage from any kind of like active participation. So for sure, like Takula would have taken Alora's offer for an official position. And I think like after the kind of events of what happened, his first instinct had been be like, okay, things are taken care of. Let me get out of here and like by myself as soon as possible. And he forced himself to not do that. And so he's trying to like, he's probably being very bad at it, but he's trying to like make friends in Daru.
Yeah.
And like get more known in the town. I think that being said, like every few months he'll definitely like get sick of it and have to
and
like
just
take off for a weekend.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Just like go alone or like go with Fang out into the woods.
Yeah. Didn't he used to not even never sleep under like a roof? Did he like always stay outside of like
Same thing.
Yeah.
Still have it. Yeah, he doesn't sleep in buildings.
Yeah.
Things also probably getting a bit bigger now too.
They are. So that's a good thing. That's something I'm working on, is like trying a visual of it. But Daru has slightly expanded. So for example, Brakar has taken on a farming position. He now just farms, but the farming land. So Daru has a river that runs around it, and it always had like a little, almost like a moat, and then had a low stone wall. They're now trying to build like wooden pike walls out on the other side of the river, and they've expanded out some of that land to where like some farming units are, and it's not perfect, but again, it's like slowly growing. Yeah, it's so there is some expanse. I talked about in the past year, the mines opened up, so there are people like mining. I don't know if like, for example, Shoyebi is asking or trying to convince Alora to use skeletons to help with that. That could help with like ore and like transition stuff. When we start our first like session next time, we're going to be picking up during the festival of the festival of joy, or Odu Ayo, and so it's going to be a time in spring where there's actually the first rains have fallen. People from the Blood Cove are coming down. There are parades. There are other merchants showing up. You might meet some competition. There are, so it'll be like a first session will be kind of a festive. You'll get to see kind of what's changed in Daru, and then you'll also have your first council meeting with Alora Mabina about what's going on in the world, which will give you also like some ideas around where you might go next, right? How you might move in the world as adventurers. And remember, they've given you these roles, but again, you aren't married to Daru. You are free agents. You're still. Alora can't tell. And that's like the rulership. They don't want you to be like Dakar is like gonna stay here forever, right? He's no longer going on mission with you all, but you all. That's why you all have this like honorary. Because when you're gone, they will vote, they will make decisions without you. But while you're there, you at least are. When you are assembled, you have a say in things, but you may go off and be gone for a long time, and then that's where the traditional power structure goes straight to Mabina, Alora, and Nikalo. Right. So those are some things to think about. Yeah. I will say also that some things in the past year there have been more demon sightings. There have been more demonic activity, often in rituals or in festive festive rituals. Even in Daru, sometimes like the ancestral spirits will move, and people are known to be possessed by the ancestors, which is a positive thing. But they've seen negative possessions from beings that take over people. That these aren't good spirits. So there's that. So that might be something, that might be a topic that will come up in the council meeting. And then there's also been, remember when you all got stuck in the weird time loop in Soluola, the dragons that burned, there's been more sightings of dragons flying around. And what does that mean? And so, a sense to the name, Dragonbane, demons and dragons are actually going to play a deeper role in probably this season as we get a bit in. So, some things to think about over the next couple of weeks. Yeah. So all of this will be explored much heavier. So like this is a good primer, if it will, for what our next session will be like and what you can kind of think about and prepare yourself for. Yeah. Any questions? You guys talk.
When's our next? It's in a couple weeks.
Couple weeks, yeah, 2 weeks from now. Yeah, I told us tonight was gonna be just kind of like this. We'll probably like close. I was thinking about maybe doing the first role playing, but I think we're just gonna kind of keep it very like this, very loose, and then we'll kind of be ready to dive in. So that next session is taking place a year later at the Festival of Joy, and we're kicking it off with like you all just having fun in the streets, kind of like being able to experience things, and then with the main thing going that you're going to have your first meeting with the leaders, and then there may even be like some you might have some highlights of like what monsters are around, if like say for example Takula might know if there's like monster hunts available, all those kind of things. I do have a question that still hasn't been, did they cut ties with Grindbone? That's something to kind of get an answer for the night's over.
For sure, Takula would have obeyed Alora, since he's now an employee, kind of. Sorry.
No, valid. My initial thought is that Kira would try to pull the entrepreneurial side of it, where it's like, we're just trying to franchise. Like, we are not going to... Sure, we won't do any slave trading business if you don't want to, but... Like, I feel like that would be her angle of, like, we are trying to get the merchantry in every town all across the lands. That's what Osei wanted.
Alora's argument is that town shouldn't exist as long as there's slaves there, and she doesn't want to reap any benefit of it.
Instead of destroying commerce, we should get rid of the slave trade.
How do you is that something that...
Because I'm pretty sure that when we were even in Grindbone, Kira didn't want to continue the slave trade. She wanted to be like, we can use the merchantry as a way to get you guys out of this situation, become self-reliable, make some money, get out of town.
Alora knows that though the Duke and his thieves are never going to go for us telling them to stop it. So do we have the power to intervene if we need? And should we? And if Daru is just growing, is this a time that we should be trying to go? Because that could turn into bloodshed. I love how as your camera pushed it. That was so good. That was so good. Roleplay moment, like Nikki was just like, "Thank you, AI," and the AI camera was like, "Boom, push it."
Sometimes it works.
Sometimes it works. Mine is over here just... That was great.
Hands, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, wouldn't it be better for us to have a view into what's happening there if the long-term goal is for us to shut that down? Maybe it's not the time to do it right now.
Okay.
But if we pull out completely, then that's like the nearest place or settlement, and that could
the only other
potentially be
branch
a
we
threat.
have.
So I guess I guess that's like kind of the angle, right? Is like, well, if we cut all ties, then the possibility of us stopping the slave trade or like breaking,
Is
like
zero.
is
Yeah, we don't
is
have
way
that
harder.
influence anymore.
So that's what it sounds
Mhm.
like from over here.
Okay.
I don't know if
And so you're
that's,
saying, and so
I
you would be
think we
telling
all
Alora for
agree
the
that we
time
don't
being,
want to be slavers.
except for Jason.
Yeah, he's
Well,
not here.
Jason,
I'm joking.
He
I
just
feel like
needs
Jason
to-
would be all aboard
He would totally
overthrowing.
argue with you on that.
He would
However,
argue if he was
would
here. He'd
also
be like,
say,
"Ah."
That's
He would
a
want
supply
slaves
for
and then
him. He's
not
looking
call
at
it
a
slavery.
source
More
of
bodies, more
materials.
skeletons.
He's like more skeletons.
workforce.
Yeah.
Yes, source of materials.
Okay, so when maybe you're
So-
arguing. Oh yeah, go ahead.
But so Alora was kind of pushing back on the idea of trying to influence Grindbone into not having slavery.
No, this is the first time. So what we're kind of doing is we're role playing without role playing the conversations that maybe you've been having with Alora, because I think she just kind of put her foot down and was like, we're not going, like, don't go back there. If you're gonna be a part of this, what we're building here, you can't be a part of that, right? Like, she's just like, she can't see, and so what you're trying to do is maybe sell her on what it means to kind of work in adjacent to try to monitor it so that we can make some kind of change long term. But are you also then saying, because to do that would be to placate to the Duke, and that means to probably like take funds from the Duke for a while, which is more money in your pockets from that slave trade, or even just from the Thieves Guild, right? From whatever dastardly do things that they do.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, I mean, this is all sounding like a really good. It's sounding like good points that you're making that are going to come down to a persuasion roll from Kira. That's what it sounded like to me right now.
So I
Okay.
haven't heard
But-
Drell or Karasi's input,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What are you guys
What do you all think?
Were you about to say
I mean,
something?
I think from Karasi's standpoint, I think she ultimately will settle where the group settles. But again, I think she would have wanted to spend a good chunk of the last year in between whatever, quests or things they go on, studying her magic. Because I think even though she's effective at what she does, all of her spells and all of her magic is very basic.
So
And
so
I
basically,
think she's wanting to grow
Okay.
in her magic over the course, and whether that's in mentalism, whether that's in animism, will depend, I guess, on opportunity, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's in Peru or whether it's
well,
in the
I can
surrounding area.
tell you now, she can learn animism. I don't think there's, unfortunately, you killed the people who knew spells you don't have.
Right. That's why I assumed
Unless-
Peru wouldn't have that
Did
resource.
and then I
And
gave you the scroll off the guy, so you got whatever was on there, right? Off
Did
the
I get that, or did Osei take that?
if the group has it, it's in your inventory. That means you have it.
He
Like,
seems to have a lot of things that I didn't know he had.
he wasn't even here for that episode. You're the one that was here fighting. You were using Shoyebi that episode, so yeah, you should have it. You should have it. So I can tell you what those spells were. So you should have those spells. I just don't think you found that master to take. If you're looking for stronger mentalism, I think you could easily you could easily take magical talent and without even making rolls, learn a whole new set of magic. You could have even learned, for example, if you want to learn, and I don't think you want to, but you can learn necromancy from Shoyebi, or you can
I don't
learn
think you want to.
animism from Nikalo. You can or you can learn harmonism.
She
I
already
don't know if you're
knows
interested in that.
animism.
You know animism. Okay.
Right.
let me
it's
see.
whether or not she
Is there
can grow
an
in
is there an
either.
elementalist? Let me see what Mabina is.
Because I don't know that she necessarily is interested in another school. But
Right.
More
I think she's just
because those are the two that kind of align with more of her view.
so
which
I
is
think
the
you are
natural world.
going to need to meet like that natural the progression of like monk, and they just don't exist in Daru right now. I want to like I don't think she's found that person in the past year.
Okay.
So
Nobody in nearby areas over the past year.
No,
huh?
I'm never gonna
So
give you
I don't
that.
know
I'm never
what
gonna give
she
you that
would
in a
have been doing.
flashback. It has to happen. That has to happen in game. So what I will say is, what you're asking me is, DM, what I want this season is I want Karasi to meet the potential mentor. Now,
Yes,
I won't
want her to be able
immediately.
to grow
What I'm gonna
in
do
some
is
way.
take that mentor and drop them in the world somewhere, and you're gonna have to find them. And I will find a hook in that first episode for her to have a hook that leads to that. So I've got to find a hook to your mentor. But
Maybe in that year, you probably find a direction that you might find that mentor
Yeah.
yeah,
if you've been searching.
because even based on the game, right? Learning a new magic is learning level 1. To take your mentalism to, you need to find a master, and I don't want that to be just a roll of a dice. That has to be something epic. Because
it doesn't seem logical that she would be teaching anybody at the skill level that she's at.
They're at a skill level 0 in what she's, you know, see what I'm saying? So like, that's not true, because wait, tell me this. Your mentalism is what's your skill level?
You mean the attribute?
The attribute.
Is
Mentalism.
18.
Oh, so at 15
But
you
it's the level of magic that I can do because I haven't had
Right.
the opportunity
So,
to learn different things.
remember, by Dragonbane standards, at 15 you became qualified to be a teacher.
Okay.
So that means you can teach other people the skills that you know. And I think I think that's an interesting thing what you're saying, but to me, I see it differently, because we think of, like, you don't have to be a master to teach someone the things that you know, right? Like you are looking for the master. You are just teaching the basics to other. And I was saying that you don't have to say, you can actually push back and say, be like, yeah, I don't think she wanted to teach. So we can just scratch that. I'm not trying to push my idea of what I just kind of came up with that as saying, people would have probably, it's more of not that she had to do it, but people would have probably asked her, how do you do that thing when you levitate? You know, things when you levitate, they see you levitating sticks and balls and like moving sand. How do you do that? How are you powering up your fists, right? Like, those are the things that she can teach others.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have a force if you wanted to now have these griots who can now tell powerful stories and also punch the shit out of people, she could actually create that, right? So it's up to you. I just create ideas. You can say, nah, close that door. So yeah, I'm just going off of Dragonbane rules. She can teach that stuff, but yeah, finding the master, they're going to be out there somewhere. Yeah, so that's something to think about. So that is work for me to do. Let me put that down as a note. Who's this person? Where are they at? How do they fit into the story? That's my homework.
And so Karasi is whatever the majority of, like, what we think of for bone grind. How to handle that.
Well, I think just her natural, like, leaning would be that she doesn't want to be in the slave business. I mean, it's not the natural things.
So we just...
It's not a peace and harmony kind of thing, or, you know, just that.
You also could take you all could take the position that you just have not been back in a year. And because remember, when you left, if you haven't been back, then you could just leave that door wide open and just say, she said the thing, and you were like, well, maybe we should. And then you could leave that open for in-game going back to, and leave that just door open for whenever you do go back to Grindbone, right? You could do that. And it could be that the Duke thought you were dead. You might go back and see Grindbone could be in a completely different situation. Like, this is a session where literally I'm asking you to, pretty imagine like all of you right now have on your DM hat, DM with me right now, right? Like, what you think is happening in this world. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from the sounds of it, from my perspective, it doesn't sound like anyone in the group would have taken that time to go to Grindbone.
It doesn't sound like it. That's what I'm hearing as well. I'm hearing people stayed away. You're enjoying this freedom of Daru, and it's like this kind of becomes an afterthought. But I hear maybe Kira being in the ear of her and saying, hey, we need to leave this open so that we can liberate them in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I like that. So I'll give you a persuasion check with help. So at Boone, if you want to make that, we've made no rolls tonight. We can make that roll right now if you want, Kira.
Okay. My persuasion's a 16.
Could we even say this, like, we're divesting for, like, not taking money, but asking Alora, if we make a move, can you support us in it?
Gotcha. Okay. I'll take that.
Okay. Put my dice in weird place because we have not been rolling.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I have to beat a 16.
Mm-hmm.
My first
Yeah,
roll is
yeah,
a
boom.
9,
Nice success. All right.
Okay.
and my second roll is a 15.
Okay, so those both went very well. So she comes around and she's like, okay. And then the fact that you all, it's an interesting thing because you leave that door open. She's like, if it does come down to it, she will support you. She does need to bring Mabina in because she would want to know. And then, you know, what we haven't, she doesn't want to like, she doesn't want to get all the people Daru killed either. So we have no army right now, but you all are strong in yourself. And so there is I think you bring her to a happy place. I think just having the conversation alone and you all not completely pushing back, like, yeah, we you by the end of the conversation, you feel like she just was kind of testing to see if you were like kind of more money hungry, if you wanted that life, or if you wanted something. And so she's like, she backs off. She's like, yeah, I'll support you if you need me. Right. That kind of thing. So you got,
Trust me, girl. You saw how we helped you. Come on now.
yeah. Let's see. We got our magical weapons. I'm just going to make the call and say, can you all roll a D4 for me? Somebody roll a D4. So somebody who hasn't rolled a die tonight. Eddie, you want to roll a D4?
And if this has to do with weapons, it makes sense that our resident blacksmith.
Indeed.
This has to do with how many adventures you went on.
Oh, well, that
Yeah.
too.
Does that change your mind?
Yeah.
All right.
I heard a lot of people say they went
Alright.
off and they did the thing. They spent a lot of time with themselves. So I decided I think D4 is a good place to
For
go.
all
Yeah.
the happy adventures. That is a 3.
And these could have been like things you were called to do, people asked you for, things you found. So 3, okay, and then I'll take 3 separate rolls. Someone who hasn't rolled 3 separate rolls of a D10.
Yeah,
Okay.
roll 1.
We
7.
roll another one.
7, okay.
Rolling boy.
Yeah.
That's also a 7.
Okay, so then can you re-roll the
What's
7
numbers?
since it's already a 7? Let's re-roll that one.
8.
Okay, nice. 8.
What's the last roll?
And the last roll.
Nick, you want to roll?
Oh, okay. I can do that.
I don't
D10,
think
right?
you rolled yet.
I did. I rolled the hundreds.
Has everybody rolled? Everybody's
Mhm.
rolled. Okay.
Okay. I mean, I can still roll it.
Yeah, go for it.
5.
5.
5, 7, 8. No particular.
All right, so give me a second here while y'all chat. I know we're closing out tonight. I'm gonna just put these together and I'm gonna share with you quickly, shortly, like the missions that you went on and then the potential like treasure that have come from those. So I'm putting that together right now.
Alright, yeah.
Let's see, tractor right. Ooh, that's interesting.
Right.
I'm very happy that where we're kind of at the moment with the characters, it's really
Mhm.
cool. I'm also glad that I don't have to make all these really hard decisions. I'm just kind of the voice of the background.
You just get
It's
to
been
keep
fun
the
watching you
inventory.
try to talk your way out of the various things that he's put in front of you. I'm like, it's been entertaining on my end to not have to be that person.
Also, all the bad decision that Osei has brought up, he does not have to face any ramifications. So
True. I was looking at the inventory. I guess the difference is like relative value of the things, but
Mhm.
the Knights of the Vale took the scepter, but we also had a gilded amulet and a shield that was marked as theirs, and they
Yeah.
just didn't care.
They didn't care.
No.
So there was two other so there was the shield and then there was the amulet of the Order of the Veil, both that they did not take. And that amulet is worth some money. It's 15
That's
gold.
different than
Yeah.
the thing I'm wearing, right?
It
I
is
think
different.
I'm wearing some sort of amulet kind of thing too.
We got a lot of gear throughout our adventures,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the amulet was a different thing. It was just the item that was worth some money.
Mm-hmm.
But there
I
was
think
a few things in the inventory that were like interesting that they haven't been we just haven't used, because there was like,
Well, we
like
also
some
don't really-
enchanted weaponry.
Yeah, do we
and
know
stuff
what they
like
all
that.
do?
Well, I mean, there was just like a magic like sword that was
Yeah.
in the inventory, and just no one needed it.
Yeah.
A different magic sword, by the way, than the one that we brought back, because we had multiple of those apparently.
And the one you chose to carry was the crazy one.
Was the crazy one, but now
Wonderful.
it's been
Decrazed?
purified.
Decrazy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Sanified?
Sword of the Merchant. I really
So-
really love the flavor of that.
I like that too. Yeah.
So
Is
Mal dropped.
Osei now in the sword?
No.
Uh-oh.
No, because Osei
Bless
was
the
gone.
power.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, so what's happening?
Osei made sure not to get stuck inside the weapon.
He said
or
any of
item.
those-
So
say
Osei
in
is
the-
not stuck inside the weapon. No.
Not
Yeah.
even a bit, huh?
Nah.
And neither is the other guy. That the
Oh.
Hexen blade is essentially just a sword again. Yeah, it is.
All right.
But you have some other magical weapons that could be handed out, and
Was the ceremony?
actually, I will say that I'll say that the Hexen blade still has whatever the charges of divination, and those are kind of like blessings of like Osei, or the like it's still it's no longer used just for lizard folk. It just it's just the regular spell divination, right?
Yeah.
Those charges are still left, but they no longer have any hate like attached to them.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
We also decided that it would have the feature of Osei, where it would search for the greatest treasure.
oh, that's what we said. Sorry, yes,
That's what
yes,
we
take
said,
that.
yeah.
That's what she said you would do.
But that
So
was
then,
in
yeah,
the
so it
sword,
no
I
longer
think.
has the divination. It just has that. It has.
So it does have some of Osei in it.
Exactly.
In a way.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
not
not
a
a
soul.
soul.
It's not a soul.
Yeah.
It's not a spirit.
No.
Yeah.
And that's
You guys are
because
obsessed
I
with capturing
did
people
the-
inside of things.
I know,
Just like
and I'm
me.
like-
No, it's more whether
Like-
or not Osei
I-
still exists in some way.
Yeah.
He's not a Pokemon. Leave him alone. Let him go live in peace.
This isn't
He's
that
having a
because
spirit
of the Lament of the Lost that Kira cast? The sword that we got?
The
So the
Yes.
Lament of the Lost, yeah.
That's
Yes.
what we
That's what it
got.
is.
That
Yes.
and like a bone whistle I wrote down.
yes.
Yeah, that's it's a dagger, enchanted dagger. Now, that bone whistle.
I didn't write that much down. I wrote one sword that seeks nearest treasure, one bone whistle.
The bone.
So
Oh,
the bone whistle
The bone
is
whistle-
an enchanted weapon as well. It's a dagger.
Yes,
That
it's
also, when you blow into it, it does the battle cry effect. So in combat,
Oh.
all allies get to mark off one of their
Let me go find it.
Condition.
Yeah,
conditions. Yeah.
let's see if I can find it. Yeah, because we talked about that for a long time too. Yeah,
Oh,
I think I
God,
ch-
Now,
Yeah.
what do we want
that
to
might have been
do?
There
during
was-
my nap.
There was so much that happened, and it was a long session.
And it's so funny. I think that was one of those as we were making up those on the spot. I think I thought you all wrote them down. So I don't even know if I
I
have
wrote
the
one
bone.
bone whistle.
Let's see.
That's what I
Competitive.
had.
Do I have bone whistle? Because it kept coming down to the way we kept rolling. It was like we gave that bone whistle an effect. Because remember, it was a memento that you blessed that memento, and so I was like, let's give it. Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Let's see. That was
Yeah.
a long
That's
day.
okay.
Because that
I'll
wasn't that
You can think on it.
Wasn't that
I'll think-
Osei?
I'll
It was-
think-
It was
So
Osei's
it
memento.
It was his
Osei's
tooth.
memento that it was belonged to Shoyabi at that point, because Shoyabi
Yeah.
took it from Osei's body when he died. He came
first
back to
time?
life the first time, and then Osei decided to give that to Shoyabi, and
Yeah.
for Shoyabi that became his memento.
Yes.
So
Somebody
yeah,
can think on
because
that.
when I cast a Lament of the Lost, I used Final Gift, which is the deceased essence enhances an item they carried in life, granting it a minor magical boon.
Mhm.
DM's ultimate decision, 1 to 2, enhanced magical weapon or blessed memento that holds a number of charges of a particular
So-
spell.
It was the sword and it was the bone whistle.
And so, Nick, remind me if so I can write it. Do you? So, are you pretty sure that's what it did? So you blew it, and then what would it do? What would the bone whistle
did
do?
So
battle
I
cry?
remember
It did
I
battle.
remember
It did battle cry.
It did battle cry, and it was the reason why we went with that is because Osei was able to do battle cry, and Osei had his merchant feature, which was seek the greatest treasure. So
Mhm.
both effects that Osei could do, which is like
Now I
Which
don't
is
remember
how
how
we
many
have, like,
charges
the-
it has.
we never gave the bone
We-
whistle.
I don't think-
charges. We never decided that.
Ah.
We just it was
So
just a
basically, she can
magical
just
dagger.
spend. Oh, as long as she spends the willpower to do that, she
We can
can
do
use.
battle. Yeah, we can do
Okay.
battle cry.
Okay, we'll try it out. And if I feel like if it gets kind of weird, maybe we'll give it charges. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's like a memento. So you have battle cry now through as long as you have the bone whistle. Okay, and then yep, I like that.
Shoyabi still has that, right?
Yeah,
no.
Bone whistle,
Shoyabi,
yeah.
right?
Oh, Shoyabi
The
has
bone
it.
whistle.
Okay,
because that's his
Okay.
memento. Like that's became his
ah,
memento.
got it.
Yeah.
So that's something that he can use, but that's good.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
then-
I don't think it will be a problem because in general,
I don't think so
Shoyabi
either.
Would be using
Yeah.
battle cry.
We won't use
I mean,
battle cry
I mean,
a
I
lot.
want you to be able to use it. So it's not like that's
It
not
has
what I'm
a-
saying.
It has
It's
it has a good feature, like ability.
yeah,
there
I don't-
might be a time, but it won't be like broken.
I'm never, I'm
Right.
never saying I don't want you to use something. I'm actually saying we'll see if I feel like every time it use it like breaks the combat, then I'll step in and figure
Then
out how
we'll
we can
reassess.
tune it. Yeah, but right now, yeah, that's cool. I like it. Good stuff. Then that is where I think we're at. Oh, where was I at on? Let me go back to. I've got
The
one of these
three.
that I'm still lost on. One of them I'm trying to figure out what's the positive here before I share them with you.
Don't like hearing that.
No, I'm like,
Great.
what's
What's
the benefit of what's happened here? So, I'll tell you one. I'm gonna like copy them and paste them over. But one is in one of your missions, you tracked a rogue knight of the Order of the Veil who was extorting Ashland farmers. What did you do to him? Did you interrogate him? Like, and yeah, so that's just a new open. Like, what'd you do with this guy? Or
Is
you
he
know,
now on payroll or?
I don't think so. He doesn't want to be
Is
friends.
he now part of the Bone Army?
Yeah. Did you kill him?
Is he belong to?
I would be
Shoyabi
shocked
now?
if Shoyabi did not murderize this person after what happened at
Yes.
the shop.
If he was murdered, then you
True.
would take. Then that's a free set of chainmail, and probably I'd imagine right now longsword and a shield.
Because you
Putting-
said he was terrorizing the people.
He was extorting them.
seems
So he's like coming
extorting them,
around, like so he probably rode in, tell the farmers like, "Hey, you probably need help from us, whatever," and probably like getting a little change and coin off of them and stuff like that. And you probably tracked him down to wherever he was or whatever he's doing, and didn't have any backup. And
Oh,
but it is interesting if you took him out, then he's eliminated. But who knows
Oh,
who
he's done.
Okay.
So
So you could add a longsword,
I don't see him living.
a shield, and
Agreed.
one set of chainmail to your
Inventory.
Who's adding that?
inventory.
Let's add that to the merchantry inventory.
Yes, please.
I
Um,
want to buff out the
We're
branding, but otherwise,
Hey, we're still the merchant tree.
we're quickly like accumulating just a section of the store that's just things looted from Order of the
Order of the
Veil.
Veil stuff.
yes.
Okay,
pawn
can you tell
shop
me that
area.
again?
and the second story, oh yes, longsword, shield, and the one set of chainmail. In the second adventure, you helped a young mage control her fire elemental before it got out of control and consumed the village of Daru.
Interesting.
They're so cool.
you gain essentially access to her grimoire and her teachers, so you could learn elementalism from her. So I have to give her a name. I have to create who this character is. So that's someone in
Ella
Daru.
the Elementalist.
And then
Mentalist.
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I'll this is gonna be my homework as I'm like I'll flush this out and make it a little bit more, give it some more, some legs. And then the last one is you cleared a collapsed mine that was rumored to be haunted, only to discover
love ghosts.
smugglers inside. There are ghosts in Daru.
Oh,
And so I figured you say this as a random treasure draw from that. And then I think what you would actually find, and I'm just gonna put it here, is in the mine. Basically, I'm adding a unexplored dungeon, and that is haunted.
Fun.
Okay.
Sounds like our Halloween
So
episode.
that-
writing itself.
right? I know, right? Well, speaking of, there also is the what's the name of the shop? Which that we're getting into new territory of next week, but or when we actually play. But there's a shop called Riverfolk Rentals in Daru, which has been expanding because
Yeah.
of the Blood Cove, and that was kind of the character that it's kind of based on it's one like the Theros character that I brought over. It's what's her face?
The captain, the sea captain.
Yeah, and I think what's her name?
it's a rip
Ithasa?
on Ithasa.
Yeah,
right?
it's a rip on Theos. Yeah. Ithasiana has gone down. So she has the shop, but she spent time in the Blood Cove, and so she's opened up. She's kind of been running like these kind of canoe trade and like doing stuff. And I think one of the stories coming out of the Blood Cove right now is that they're off the coast. There's this ship, and it looks like an Aldarian ship, but it hasn't come into harbor. No lights, no nothing, no crew, tattered sails. That's just sitting out.
Ghost
Yeah.
ship!
So there's
Ghost
there's a ghost ship episode, whatever. In the Blood
Man.
Cove. Yeah.
A little
there's-
Pirates of the Caribbean. Hell
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So we've got some.
My swimming is bad and my sea navigation is bad. That sounds like a great time.
Oh
one
man.
thing
So
one thing I will let you all know: the new character knows how to swim.
Nice.
Huzzah!
That makes one of us.
Is he
That
a
makes
doctor?
one character.
At least someone can. Maybe you could teach the rest of us. Downtime swim lessons?
So only this one's activating. I gotta figure that.
I
I
am
gotta fix
one
that.
point away from being able to teach others.
Ooh,
Nice.
so close.
So close.
That is, you really can swim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot to explore. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, we'll see what you guys
This is
gravitate towards. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a
That
good
kind
time.
that kind of wraps it. So if you need to jump, I'm gonna stick around like a chat till you guys are ready to. But that's that's all I had for tonight, and then we'll have a officially kind of fleshed out session for our next go
Oh, yeah.
round.
Very awesome. Very
I
awesome.
did have a
Nice.
follow-up question.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned Daru is against necromancy. Is that primarily because of all of the things that were
Freya.
happening in Solo-Ola? Or is it like in general, is it like a religious thing?
It's in general, the Yushinarans are averse to like dealing, like they don't see it as a good thing to raise dead. It's just a taboo. It's like a weird
Okay.
thing that. And so I think what's been happening is because they've met Shoyebi and they met you all, they've come around. But they like I said, they still make Shoyebi keep like his little bone guy is cool. Like what's his name?
Tiny
but,
Bones?
But like they don't like people will like you get the feeling, and I think that's why he's always left him outside town, because like people will look at you. They look at necromancers like the way Karasi looks at him and smells him and smells them. It's just it's unsanitary. It's weird. Like people don't like necromancers. And what's funny is like as actually was reading the new book on it in the Dragonbane book. They're like, I like it that they actually have, if you play a necromancer, they're like, do not expect people to like you. They literally have a section on like how you're not going to be accepted like in this like go moving around just in general.
You're a weirdo.
But then at the same time, I do think what I did earlier said is like some people see necromancy, like Wayshoyabi is very efficient. You can see it as like efficiently using the body in the afterlife as resources. You know, the folks in Daru just they're not there yet. Like that's not their jam.
They haven't learned to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Yeah. So,
Which,
yeah. So again, he's not being like a complete like but it's like like they're just like let's no skeletons walking through the streets, please, like no zombies, like please keep that outside right now. So but I do think and I think Solo, that is why one of the conversations about Solo is like it is kind of weird, like because they are literally just using all bone people, you know, to do a lot of the work. And so maybe there's a chance for you all to persuade, you know, some of that work to come over and to be helpful in Daru. I think, you know, we'll have to figure out what that looks like once we roleplay. But yeah, we've got dragons, we've got demons, we've got some weird stuff happening. We've got a whole section of, you know, in the background, this order that is very of these like, you know, paladins who are, you know, for all we know, who are taking over Fort Arion and who have stolen this thing from you. What are they up to? So we'll have lots of interesting directions to take our story. I'll try to make this, hopefully this kind of season or this campaign will early on we'll find it'll feel more like you'll have this not like a direction, like you'll have a better understanding of like what the story is, and it won't just feel so like kind of flailing, grasping for straws. But I think that we'll find that out very early based on the direction you all want to go, like with the world, you know, who your main enemies and stuff like that will be. So, but I have an idea, but of course I'm not going to force it. But I just have ideas of things that are just happening. 'Cause like even like I had this argument with the Rinze group. They were like, because they took a mission and they were like, we don't know like what is the, because my Wednesday group is I've never done a campaign with them that wasn't like a D&D module. So I realized they're not used to just like it being open world. Like they're like, oh, we're supposed to be fighting Tiamat. We're supposed to be. I don't know what I want to do. It's that, and I'm like, they're like, what? I'm like, you all need to figure out what you want from the world. I'm like, the other group was over here building a merchant shop and like it is like expanding territory already on you guys. Like they're just like, you know. So it's those kind of things of figuring out what you want, because the story's just gonna story. Like the Veil is doing Veil stuff, right? Like I think last season you always made Shine the villain. It could have been somebody else, and that's cool because it stopped Shine, but it didn't stop somebody else, and that's what helps me build new villains for where we're at now. So it's gonna
and I'm really glad that we are still down or still glad or good with like making the merchantry, or making like a building up a place, because it does give us this this little hub of like, hey, we can always like work on this or do these things.
I think it will be fun because too, also eventually there will be this creep, because I imagine there's this point where you're making too much gold to do any good for what you're like. The gold won't really serve your, like a lot of times in D&D you have so much gold that like in the Theros, like you guys never used any of that gold. So with this mini group game that you're doing, it'd be interesting to see if you start making that kind of gold, what you can use it on. That's not like party things. It's like, how do you make Daru better, or how do you like, oh, we can, we want to build
let's expand the roadways. Let's
exactly
all those towns like link up and
absolutely
build infrastructure.
So I am literally trying to think in that way, like you all can't see it, but like it's hidden, but like on across the maps there are even like, if you guys were to start saying we want to search for coal here or iron, like I have it all like kind of spread out, like where those resources are. So for example, I know what resources kind of Daru has, and I'm just trying to like think of, and I've never been good at this, so it's also like my first chance of exploring like world building. It's very freaking difficult, but it's fun at the same time. So if you have ideas, just know the more you put them forth, the more I'll kind of try to run with those, which the whole idea of having a merchant group was you all's idea. So we're kind of taking the merchant idea of like, what do merchant adventures look like, So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I like it. Which has some interesting things, cool. Should be fun. Yeah.
I don't think I've actually, now I think about Drell, I don't think we really heard about what
Yeah,
you
what's
are up to, right? Like what's that
Drell trying to run under the radar right now.
Yeah, I had some stuff that I was kind of writing out during the session. It's not quite fleshed out, but like generally speaking, like in a personal or just stat building, I felt like a necessity to try to be a tank the last year, like to try to fill that role. And
you might need to keep that based on what they got at the end of that last.
I might, yeah. Well,
I'm just saying,
like,
don't go and change.
I feel like I felt sluggish. I felt
Oh,
slow in my
yeah.
armor. That like I wasn't like really like. I mean,
Gotcha.
I'm jacked for a dwarf, for that little mandrel, but I feel like I was trying to train a little bit, like
Are you
lose a little bit
attending
of.
my yoga and body fitness
I
classes?
mean, yeah, like I'm like
Okay.
working with my agility, my flexibility, so I did increase my acrobatics. This was just
every
based
day's
on, like,
leg day.
Yep.
every day is leg day, legs for days. And yeah, so like I stopped using the I think I had chainmail for a little bit, so I went back to my studded leather. Started training with more one-handed versus my great sword that I had towards the end.
Oh, interesting.
So just trying to like be still like, be kind of like a tank, but a more nimble tank, I guess, balanced tank.
Yeah, I like it.
More finesse.
And then outside of the stat stuff, I think Drell, like, he took into heart like the will that was put out, and like really he sees how some of the skeleton, the kind of the undead or bone army is treated sometimes or looked at, and I think he wants to, in a weird way, he spends a lot of time trying to dress them, like make clothing for them to look like more like presentable to so that people
cloaks.
are more accepting.
Okay.
Because they're doing a lot of work. They're doing great work, and they the people Drew trust us, and so Drell's really kind of spending some time doing that. It allows
Try
also
to
him
ease
to
relations.
try to ease, but also in a sense to keep track of Shoaib, like to kind of keep an eye on him, really taking the will to heart. And I think some of the demon sightings that you mentioned kind of rile him up, like kind of freak him out a little bit, because of he's noticing this could be a separate thing, but I wanted to somehow have had a moment where like I noticed like a desecration of like either the villagers of Daru or like some of our bone arm, like that they were like possessed or something, somewhere where like I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not right. Like, I'm not sleeping because like I want to like make sure my bone buddies are okay.
Okay.
and so I think like there's some, I haven't fleshed that out or how I make that work, but it's trying to, I think Drell is getting a little too like, I don't know how to put it, like, I'm not secluding himself, but just like,
the whole situation with the demons and stuff is really putting him on edge.
Yeah, it's really putting him on edge. This is not something he's ever experienced. He holds the process of death and like making like allowing someone to like have an appropriate burial, or that this sort of unnatural, like, I don't know, this sort of, this new, these demons are kind of really changing how he sees things, and it's really got him.
Also, to clarify, when I say, so that you guys know, when I say demon sightings, they're not like you saw like a Balrog running down the, flaming down the like mountainside or like across the plains. It's more like possessions that shouldn't be happening. People like having uncontrollable fits and like their eyes maybe glowing or levitating and then it like ceasing. Moments of like these kind of things. In addition, pockets of maybe the Joyfall where out on the plain you might see an area get too bright, because the Joyfall is like when like it gets so bright that like you can't see into the next section of area of land, or it gets or you start to witness those like beings or Joyfall beings. Sometimes they come as beings of light with the sun faces, sometimes they look like moon beings at night. Those are the things. And you guys have you've seen the thing when the owl creature, when that thing ascended, that thing came out of it, the sun creature from the boat. They are clearly represent types of demons, and I think you all have been able to assess maybe from reading lore, griots, Nicolo, all of your time, and that essentially all those beings are like high levels. And in a weird way, the people of Akbalon and the Ashlands, there is almost no difference between celestial and demon. The celestial and the demon, somebody calls it a demon, somebody calls it celestial, somebody calls it an angel, somebody calls it
It's all perspective.
They're just the extraterrestrials. They're just like
they're the extraterrestrial supernaturals. So that's how we say demon. And then the lower level demons, they are the kind of dark, sinister, impish creatures, you see moving in the shadows. A little bit more clear of what that is. Almost think of like principality, like when they have but the higher beings, the levels, the demon lords, they tend to look almost majestic. And those are the things that you've seen so far. They seem alien. They seem extraterrestrial. So just kind of put in that perspective. That's how the demons are in this world. And that's the feeling you got from even Ix. Both forms, Ix and a Shine. Shine was essentially, you could call Shine a god, or you could call him a demon lord. Like that's essentially what Shine.
Demon.
A greater demon.
Like a demon lord. Okay.
So at the end of that last episode, something that had probably been sticking with you all for the past years, when Shine was dying, he was sharing with Karasi, and he was like, "You've messed up. You're allowing them all reign on their own. I was going to bring them order." And so I think Karasi has realized that Shine was saying he was going to be like the kind of demon king on this realm. And so I think when the question is like, why did he want to be the demon king? And if so, if they're all doing their own thing now and they're all coming out, why? Why are they coming into the new plane? Something to possibly explore. And it just means what do the demons want? And so if there was this like world order of demonic kingdom that he was going to establish, now you have literally saved the people from that and allowed them to grow and prosper in their own way. But that means there's no hierarchy and there's no order to the demons that are running amok right now. So that's a way to kind of establish and then we've always known that the dragons, I think from a lore standpoint, hate demons and probably are moved and arrested from their slumber when demonic activity is at its highest. So I think the group would already know that there's some correlation between seeing more dragons moving with like what's going on in the world too. So I'd leave you with that to make, so you don't feel like those are things that you can use to how your characters probably think about the world.
Yeah, that's really helpful. That'll allow me to kind of flesh that piece out a little bit more.
Feels like something we will have to address.
At
some point in this next phase of thing.
Cool. So I'm excited.
The other thing was Shine at one point said if I go with him or if Karasi goes with him, he would spare everyone else. So she doesn't know what that's about either. He could just be like, that could have just been like a trick to try to get me to.
Yeah.
Might be a liar.
One of the things that put me off on Shine was when he was like, just the people who believe in me are totally safe. Everybody else, fuck them. I mean,
Right.
not in
Yeah.
those words, but
He's going
that
to.
was the vibe.
Just know
make
if you would have
all
let him, like,
everyone-
there probably would have been an era of prosperity, but this season 2 would look very different with Shine
Well,
in charge.
Prosperity is,
Yeah, it's relative,
what
right?
this-
Would only
Prosperity for
our
some.
group think it was prosperity?
Oh, that's
Would
what
the
it would be.
Wednesday group be like, shit.
I think you probably made the right. It would be
Probably.
interesting to see what the world looks like, but yeah, I don't think it would be. It would actually be like really. It would actually be opposite of what I think Drew needs. So yeah, you good on you
Yeah.
for. And I don't think Shine is, for example, I will say just for terms of like where we're going right now. You don't have to worry about him for like you when he said "gum with me." That was him. His last straw to try to get you to give him power.
Right.
So he's out of here. Like there's no Shine working in the background right now, at least for now. There's Shine's
I just
done.
They all
assumed we'd probably
say.
see him again, but maybe not.
Yeah, if we
What
play
I-
long enough, maybe we'll see another Shine. But yeah, Shine
What
is
I'm worried
at least
about,
yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
Ix.
Ix is out there. Ix got a
Ix is
mission
out
to
there.
eat the world.
Wait,
that was
remind
given to
me
him by
what's-
Osei. Osei told him to eat everyone.
Wait,
So
wait,
remember
was
when I was
not here
saying
for
that
this?
Osei doesn't have to worry about the consequences of his actions?
Yeah.
So that
What'd you-
so so remember when we were in
I'm gonna grab a drink for this
Solo Olo?
conversation.
We were
I
in
don't
Solo
think I
Olo,
was
right?
there for this, right?
Karasi was not there for
Okay.
this.
I'm like, none of this sounds familiar.
Great.
So we went to Solo Olo and we were trapped in the Infinite Tsukiyomi where everything was just like
Oh, yeah.
going back on itself. Time was,
oh, in the
relative.
dragon shit?
and we had to deal with the dragon shit, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So we had to
yeah.
go all the way up the tower, and then we saw Khalid getting his soul eaten out
Yeah.
every single time by this demon, this horrifying demon lord, and his name was Ix. So
Ah.
Osei, in his infinite wisdom, tried to distract Ix by telling him some stuff, and he was telling some stuff to give him
Telling him
ideas.
some stuff.
And it was like, hey, it's such a waste to just eat one soul. Why don't you just eat all the souls?
Why was that your solution? Okay.
Yeah, dude. I don't
Yeah,
So
know.
the
this is
solution-
rushing
Seems
back.
like
This is rushing back.
Yeah,
So-
Osei goes, "Why do you want one soul when you could eat many?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's a good."
Yeah,
Well,
great
if I recall, in
idea.
the
I'm gonna
moment,
eat
it's-
every.
It
It
sounded
saved
like
the
you
day.
were
It
offering
worked.
him
Now
us.
that is bad for later.
Yeah,
It's so, and the funniest thing was that in this bluffing, like he was trying to like distract Ix, right?
yes,
Osei I rolled a demon on that,
that's why.
and
that,
so
yes.
and that's why so
it failed
even though
forward. It failed in the wrong.
works, but it caused this consequence later down the line.
Yes, it was a fail forward where it worked for that moment, but it was like the repercussions were going to be. And
Now,
and if it helps you
this
all
is a
understand
problem.
too,
This is
if
gonna be a
there
problem.
if Ix, which you all know now from talking to Nazi, Ix is Roman numeral 9. Well, if Ix is 9, how many demons are there? And are they all demon lords, right? So this kind of help you can kind of start to put the pieces together. If there's an Ix, then there's probably an 8, there's probably a 7. There's probably, so there are others. They're all out there doing the thing.
Yeah, it's
Leech.
it's
Good
it's
bleach.
bad in multiple ways, but kind of like bleach. Yeah.
Shit, man.
But yeah, just wanted to point that out as well.
No, I like it. It's a good.
When
That's good.
have we seen Ix in any way since that incident?
Not since he's not
heard a
showed
whisper
up.
in any way.
Nope.
I think maybe during that year, Kira would have her ear to the ground. What's the word? Ear to the ground.
Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. To see if there's any whispers of
Yeah.
anything that reminds her of Ix.
Okay. That's
Especially
something to
with
think
all the
about.
demon
I'm gonna put notes on it.
activity.
So we have some radars for like the
Yeah,
demons and what's
yeah.
going on, right?
That's
Because-
why I'm trying to give you this stuff because I think these are things that they would be having conversations on that would come up, that would go away, that would
recap.
like what's going on with our so this is good to just try to be like because it's easy to forget all this stuff. But Ix was like, he was the first demon, and what's crazy is because of that, the way you did that, you didn't have to fight him. You never like had to. I think like so far the
Don't
first
really
demon.
know.
Yeah, he was just like, okay, he like they were able to like because that distraction, even though it was a demon, it allowed them to like throw the. Did you throw the thing into the fire?
It was
or
Shoyebi was the one who banished the demon.
Banished the demon,
and that was also what gave Khalid the time to ascend
to ascend and become a god.
So it was
appropriate.
Bad
it was
stuff,
good.
With some stuff, we might have to face some consequences, but overall, we got out of that.
Yeah.
And,
And the thing is, I don't see it as I don't really see it. I think it is. That was just story advancement. It was just like there's always going to be the next iteration of the big thing, and it was a moment of like, oh yeah, you were being like, I don't want this bad thing today. Kick that down. Let's just kick that down. Kick that can down the river for another episode. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. So no more fights. No fighting this monster. It's gone. It's gone. But to be safe for another day. But
yeah,
it's like, nah, bro, just eat everyone else. It's all good.
Oh man,
tasty folks out there.
So yeah, hopefully it's starting to, as we start to learn the world, it starts to feel more like, okay, you all feel like you kind of know what is going on and what you can, because I don't want it to feel like so big that you're kind of getting lost in it. So hopefully, I'll try to keep. If I need to shrink it, I will. Yeah.
The more that we talk like this is helpful, because I didn't realize the things that I should have been paying attention to in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's fine, because there's been a lot to
it was a
take
lot.
in.
Yeah.
So going back over it and being like, oh yeah, that did happen. It helps me like, oh yeah, that wasn't just terrifying that man turned into a spider.
Yes.
True.
Yep. There will probably be another visit of Anansi, because he went to go visit the cloud dragon. So like there's a lot. It's weird. There's like so many things happening in the backgrounds. There's a lot of loose ends. So there's so many things that come back this season for sure.
There's something I'm really curious about, and I'm specifically about Kira.
Mm.
What is the Quasimon situation, and what does that look like?
First of all, I want to be a duck. I wanted to be a duck. How dare you bring a duck into this world when I wasn't allowed to be a duck? That's so rude. I'm not gonna like that duck.
Do you want to like have Kira go off and do something now? Create a mallard. Now that we have mallard.
I love Kira.
I like Kira too. Oh man.
She's a nice fun.
That whole idea of Quasimon was to say, I hate ducks so much that I want you to hate them too, so I'm gonna make a duck that I want you all to hate. That's what I did. I was like, I want them to hate this duck person because I hate duck people. So I'm just me, but like GM like kinisms and being like, hate the mallard. Can everybody hate this mallard with me? And we were like, yeah, we're all on the same page. We all hate this one.
What has Quasimon been doing this last year?
He's actually turning. I think he's turned over a new leaf. He's still an asshole. I think he's still like ever since he's gone back. Well, ever since he's come back to Daru, he's still like throwing chicken bones on the ground and like they have issues with him in the Hearth house from time to time. But he deserves the peace from time to time, especially when he gets drunk a little too much Bantu beer and palm wine. But he's not, he's not stealing from anyone. He's not raiding any dungeons that unless, he's working with you all on things that he doesn't go on missions with you, but he might like report dungeons. Like he might have reported what was going on with
speaking to Grindbone and telling us what's going on.
He's pretty much.
I would like to put this on record. Kira doesn't trust a damn thing he says.
And I think he has
something she's gonna verify.
I think he has
how long it is.
I think he has shown he has tried to flirt with Kira, and she freaking gives him the shit. Probably black-eyed him a couple times, but he has confided with Takula and the rest of the group that like she's so cool, and like he's just trying to figure out why she's like hates him so much.
The only thing I want to put in perspective, I don't know if because I thought it was interesting, is that during that fight with Shine, Kira was blinded and was brought to safety by Quasimon. So I was just curious
because he drive her crazy. that
She-
she
Yeah.
owes him.
Yeah, she's gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, and he would have told the group to tell her like, you know, I helped her out, like, you know, she's just like not having
That's
it.
bullshit. He's a piece of shit. He wouldn't have done that.
He's been taking more baths, like he's been trying to like,
Oh,
you know, he's trying to like
himself
dress himself up.
oh my god.
He shows up with like that weird slick
That's
hair.
slick hairdo.
No.
he's kind of Howard the Duck in this Moe's thing right now, like doing his thing. So we'll explore that.
So I honestly love that. I love that dynamic that's going on.
I hate how much I love that too. I'm not gonna lie.
I want to hate him, but you know what? I
And
just
it's
I can't shoot down that shine there that he's putting out, that confidence.
what's hysterical too is that even though she's not tall, she'd be so much taller than him, right?
Mhm.
Like a stork compared to a duck.
I think he's bought himself a big, like, kind of Puss in Boots Darkwing Duck hat, kind of like some with a feather in it. Someone like he's trying to be a little bit.
Don't make him Darkwing Duck. I like that. Don't do that.
we'll save it all for a session. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Oh,
There's some
man.
more things to
Okay.
think about.
Now
More
I have
things
to think
There
how
are
she's gonna
so
react
many
to all of that.
things. There are
Dancing
so many things. Oh my god, I love it.
I love this game so much.
Oh, so much fun. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So
Yeah,
this was good tonight. This actually
yeah.
gave me more than
Yeah.
this was actually better than actually trying to jump all the way in, because like
Yeah.
it gave me things to solidify some things that I probably needed to have before we started our first session. So good session 0, everyone. Which I've never had a session 0 with characters that you've been playing for like a bunch of like 20 sessions, you know,
Yeah.
with already. So that's pretty cool.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Getting outta
drop
here.
off. It's good to see everybody.
Eddie, it's great
Sorry,
seeing
Eddie.
you.
To see you as
know,
well.